Hello and welcome to this feature interview. I'm Kelsey Hubbard. Today I have with you the Rodney Marsalis Big Brass, who just performed at the MCA last week. You guys, thank you so much for coming.
Oh,
Thank you.
it's our pleasure.
Yeah, I know you guys are just two of the big band, but what got you into this idea of doing this?
Well, it goes really far back. I'm from New Orleans, and if you've ever been to New Orleans, there are brass groups all over the place, playing on the street. And I did it when I was a kid, when I played with New Orleans Symphony. And there was this connection that you'd get between the group, because there's no stage, it's just you and the audience playing on the street for money. So we wanted to bring that experience to audiences all over the world, and so we started doing it about 10 years ago, and have been doing it all over the world ever since.
Yeah, and how did you guys get started?
Well, basically it was just calling friends. You know, I mean, there's these virtuoso players who were in school together, and they're spread out now. John lives down in D.C. We have people from all over the United States. We have a guy who comes in from South America even.
Wow.
But we just, when we have a concert or something, we get together and we tour, and yeah, that's how we do it.
Well, cool. And how did you guys, I guess, learn about Emory and decide to come here?
That was actually a phone call. I think someone saw one of our videos. We have a lot of videos out there. So I think it was that. I think they saw us on YouTube or something like that. And,
well, awesome. And I know that one of the students here went to one of your workshops. Is that how you guys met?
Yeah, we have these brass retreats, and we have teachers come in from the ensemble, and we're with these students, and we have like this huge house rented. Food is included. It's a great place, a great hang, and a lot of teaching and a lot of learning on all sides. And what was her name? She was
Shelby.
Shelby. Yes, Shelby. She came down to a retreat in
The Outer Banks Brass Retreat in Outer Banks, North Carolina. Yeah, we rented a mansion on the beach, and it's a lot different from most conference experiences, because usually you go to a conference and students or the people there, they walk around, they don't really get a connection. With this, they actually live in the house with the artists. It's like a fantasy baseball camp or something, where they're living there for a week, and Shelby, she seemed to enjoy it a lot. She came back, she was raving about it. So.
Oh, awesome. I know that you play trumpet and you play tuba. Yes. How did you guys decide that was the instrument for you, and how did you find that love?
Well, one of us made a really good decision about which instrument to choose.
Well, I started with trumpet, and the thing is with tuba, most people don't decide to play the tuba. What happens is, like when I was in 8th grade, there was no tuba player in the band. They needed one, so the band director just started making people play the tuba, and whoever didn't do it the worst had to do it. So I played trumpet, and then I got moved to tuba in 8th grade, and I never looked back. I think part of the great thing and the idea of the Marsalis group is that music is music, and for me, it doesn't matter what instrument I'm playing, I'm still performing and playing the same music. So if it's tuba or something else, for me it's all the same.
Right. And what about you with the trumpet?
With the trumpet, it's actually because I was short. And when you go because I was short, I almost ended up being the clarinet, because yeah, I know, right? What a disaster that would be. But I was really short, and that was the only instrument I could see. So my mom took me to a concert, and I said, oh, I want to play that long, skinny black thing that was in the front. I couldn't see the other instruments in the back. So my mom told her cousin, Ellis Marsalis, he wants to play the clarinet. And he said, oh, he had played clarinet. A lot of people don't realize that. He said, no, don't have him do that. Have him play an instrument where you play the trumpet, something where he can play a lot of different styles. And it's kind of funny that now we travel all around the world playing different styles. But that's really the reason why I ended up playing trumpet, was the advice of my cousin Ellis.
That's really cool. I know that people have been saying that you have like a 12 group, about 12 people, and there only were 7 that came to Emory. Why was that?
Well, it really depends on what's going on at the time. It's the exact same concert, whether it's 7 or 12. But sometimes if we're already on tour with 7, or if the whole group isn't available, we'll go out with a little bit smaller ensemble.
Right. And I know you guys have been doing this for a good amount of years. What was your very first performance like as the group?
Oh, the very first performance. I guess as the way the group is now, the very first performance was in the Kimmel Center in Philadelphia, and it was one of those things where it was just a coincidence that I was standing next to the executive director of the Kimmel Center. And I think we both were waiting for someone, and neither one of us, we were both being stood up. And so we're standing, and we're kind of just to make conversation. He's like, so what are you up to? And I was like, well, I've got this group, this 11-piece group. And he's like, oh, tell me about it. And I was like, oh, we play a lot of different styles of music. Oh, hey, what are you doing next Monday? Come up to the office. Maybe we could, I ended up having a meeting with him,
Wow.
and we ended up having our very first concert in pretty much one of the most important concert venues in the United States, just because we were both stood up.
Well, that's a very interesting way to get started. I know you've been playing like everywhere. What are some of like the highlights of the places that you've played at?
I don't know.
For me, I think the highlight was, maybe it was 2 years ago, we played at Tanglewood in Seiji Ozawa Hall. And the Tanglewood kind of experience, which is the summer home for the Boston Symphony Orchestra, that's where I really decided that I have to be a musician. I have to do this for a living. I was in high school, I was in the high school program, and like my first real orchestra concerts were on this stage in the Seiji Ozawa Hall, and to come back to that like almost 10 years later and to play with this group, on stage in the same hall, it was kind of a dream come true.
Wow, amazing. What about you, Rodney?
Wow, pretty much I'd say Tanglewood was the same sort of thing for me, because I'm from New Orleans, and down there we didn't have the sort of programs that you have up north. So when I would go to Tanglewood as a kid, that was my escape, and I felt like I was in heaven for that 8 weeks. And and I never would have dreamed that I would have one day be there playing as a performer with people coming to hear the group play. And on top of it, it was on invitation from my cousins, Ellis Marcellus and Delphio Marcellus. And so I was on stage playing with them, with this group, and that was, again, it was just, it was like a dream come true.
Well, that's amazing, and I wish you both and the whole group the best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on set.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Kelsey Hubbard. This has been your feature interview with John and Rodney.